My dudes, what's going on? Welcome to the final episode of the Alchemy Bubble Tier List. Today, we're going to be tackling the Kazam Cauldron, aka the Yellow Bubbles. If you want to see the full conversation, it will be in the video in the description below. Anyways, let's get into it. The first one that we are going to be dealing with, chat, is known as Lotto Skill. Lotto Skills gives luck. It's also a linear bubble, and it requires red. Like we said before, this is total luck, not base luck, so it doesn't get scaled by all stat percent. You can't really ever scale this because you can't hourly click it, and it's not really worth it to use it with atoms. It's something that you do use, though, but unfortunately, it's just not quite there. So out of all the 4 bubbles, this one's going to be top of the C tier. We have a great bubble known as Larry. Every time you upgrade an alchemy bubble, there is a % chance it'll upgrade 2 times for no extra cost. Also, chat, if you get it above 100%, it has a chance to do +3. And it takes Dementio ore. Dementio is really easy to get. This bubble is required if you want to get decent alchemy. It is easily S tier in my books. Cogs for hands, which gives you a % cog production speed, and it is a linear bubble. This is pretty helpful, and the material comes from Frost Flakes, which is early World 3. It is crucial to cog grinding, but you don't start cog grinding until later game. I would give it a low B tier. Sample it, chat. This gives you a sample size when taking samples for the 3D printer, and it takes Dune Souls. The scaling is terrible. It costs Dune Souls. So, and realistically, the only time that you're ever going to hard prioritize this is if you're ever trying to drop Royal Sampler, but that's a pretty end game thing. So you're not really going to focus this. No bubble left behind will pretty much take care of it. So top the pack C tier. Big Game Hunter, which has to be equipped. Killing a giant monster has a 52% chance to not decrease the giant mob spawn odds, which resets at the end of each week. It does cost Scorpions, so it is expensive. So Big Game Hunter is a super solid bubble, and it'd be an S tier if you're an active player for Tactation of the Tyrant Prayer, so you get your giant mob, so it reduces the chance. So if you're playing idle, this is not really going to benefit you. If you're active play, it's S tier. If you're more of an idle player, top the pack A tier. Ignore Overdues, which gives you a % book checkout speed, makes your talent library refresh your books a little bit faster, and it requires Wispy Lumber, which is located at Quenchies. You need books, man, and since it's really good late game, but you can't really scale it and level it early game, and it also kind of depends if you're getting automation arm or not. We're gonna put that top of the pack B tier. Yellow Bargain Tag. The material costs of all yellow bubbles are % lower. So you got to realize yellow bargain tag doesn't get multiplied. All the other bargain tags literally get multiplied. This one does not. And also it costs pingies. Let's be honest here. It's going to be the bottom of the pack C tier. Mr. Massacre gives you multi-kill per damage tier. So this is multi-kill per tier. This is not base multi-kill. So if you have 15 times damage tier on a mob, that means that you get percentage stacked on 15 times. But it does cost blue salts. It's a World 4 bubble. It's really hard for no bubble left behind to level it up. And it's early scaling to make it really strong, so you can say it with bargain tag, or for mid-game players, it's top of the pack A tier. Egg Ink. Egg Ink gives a percentage for faster egg incubation time in the pet nest. This definitely helps out a lot with egg rarity, and it requires the first spice of breeding. You're never, ever going to prioritize this. Spices are arguably one of the hardest things to get because they're so incredibly time gated, and they don't get crazy until you have Converter Pet. For that reason, I put it below Lotto, top of bargain in the C tier. We have Diamond Chef, which is a multiplier that makes faster meal and fire kitchen speed for every meal at 11+. So this means your cooking speed absolutely gets juiced from this, but it does cost beach stock salts. This is one of your biggest snowballs in cooking until you have enough plates in order to get V-Man enhancements. You will literally build a build specifically for this. The fact that you even make a build based around farming beach dog salts just for this bubble's sole fact makes it S tier. Card Champ gives you a card drop chance for all card types, even party dungeon cards. And it requires the purple salts. This is a stupidly expensive bubble for what it gives you. So because it's from the crypts and is an expensive spice, and it is an additive, it is not a multiplicative bonus. So I'm going to put it right above bargain tag in C tier. Dropping loads, which gives us a % drop rate, and it requires goldfish. So because dropping loads only costs goldfish, jellyfish, although the scaling is garbage, early game, it actually scales really fast. In an early game to mid game standpoint, this is going to be a very easy bubble to cap out. So top the A tier, petting the rift, which gives you a % shiny chance per every new rift level you reach, and it costs blobfish. Just let me cook for a second. Highest tier trapping in the game. Not only that, it's for rift. Rift is super, super brutal. Not only that, by the time you get to a point where you can actually use and abuse this, you'll pretty much have a 1-to-1 shiny chance anyways. You're never ever going to really focus this one. So this is a bubble that you just leave at level 1. Boaty bubbles. Boaty bubbles give you sailing speed for all your boats, but it also costs bits, so it is not atomable. So Boaty bubble is actually really solid for early game sailing, but it scales incredibly quickly, and once you kind of hit that cap, you're kind of done. For that reason, it's almost in the A tier, but I would put it top of B. We have Big P. Now, Big P gives you a multiplier bonus from all your minor links of your gods that you're linked to divinity. So it's just a bigger god passive, and it requires the first sailing material. So although this is a multiplier and it does help with bonus of the minor of your gods, scales okay. I'm going to be putting it at the top of the pack B tier. Bit by bit, which gives you a % more bits earned in the gaming per plant found, as shown as the logbook. And it also costs dandelion logs. Its scaling is not as crazy as you think it is, and it does take a little bit longer to ramp up. So for that reason, I will put it right below Boaty Bubbles in B tier. We have Gifts Abound, which gives you a % chance to not use up divinity points when offering a gift, and it requires dust motes. Since it is the very last, second to last bubble you are going to unlock, and it gives you a small percentage for a very infrequent proc, I'm going to put this low C tier right above bargain tag. All right, we have bubble number 25, which is called Atom Split. And it gives % low particle cost for all upgrading atoms to cost tremor worms, because Atom Split is a omega late bubble. Also, if you want to atom it, it's 6,410 atoms at 1 billion. So for that reason alone, it's C. It's not a priority. Statue EXP, which leveling up a statue resets XP bar down 2% instead of 0%. And it costs sand from sandy pots to level. Or Start You EXP is a solid overall bubble. This will over time, even in early, mid, and even late game, will save you hundreds to thousands to hundreds of thousands worth of statues. This is easily scalable bubble, super cheap. Goes to the bottom of the pack A tier. Level up gift. Whenever you level up anything, you have a % chance to drop a gift. This could be an XP balloon, it could be a gem, or it could be something like fun flags if you're farming specifically at fishing, or, you know, the potential chance of getting the stamp. This is an early game bubble. Also requires crab cakes base material. It's a fairly cheap material. It's a fairly early bubble, but it is a big bubble. I would give it the top, the C tier. The reason being is it actually just becomes completely useless late game. Prowessy. The prowess bonus for every skill is multiplied, and prowessy lowers the efficiency needed to get multiple quantities per drop of resource. But you need to realize that prowessy caps at 2.0. Since it does cost toilet logs, which isn't too expensive at early game to mid game, this is solid A tier. But by the time you get into later game and early late game, this becomes more of like a really low C tier. So for that reason, I'll put it at the bottom of the pack, A tier. Stamp Tramp, which increases the max level of toilet paper postage, which is a star talent that increases the potency of your skilling stamps. And it will keep on leveling up, and it's a linear, so it goes up by 1 per level. And it also costs butterflies. Let's make this perfectly clear. Early game, you do not want to put points in this because you are prioritizing other things such as Action Frenzy, Super Source, Frothy Milk, but it becomes decently strong late game. So it is the very bottom of the pack, C tier. All right, we have undeveloped costs. Now this reduces the material cost of all alchemy bubbles by %. And this does also require jellyfish. It's one of the better bubbles for discounts when it becomes earlier to mid game, but when it comes late game, it has the same problem as all the other bargain tags. You're going to want to end up getting as quickly as atoms as possible. Kind of garbage late game, so I'll give it bottom of the pack, B tier. The Daily Drip increases the max cap for every liquid by a normal plus, and this bonus increase based on combined alchemy level of all your characters. But it does cost leather. You do want to have max liquid for your cauldrons. It's very, very strong, but because it only does cost leather and it doesn't start getting potent till later in the game, I put it in B tier.
And the last one we have, chat, is the big bubble known as grind time, which requires both liquids to level it up. So it's only liquids, no materials, and it gives you XP percent. This is how you get to like times 40 times 70 XP multiplier. This is literally one of the best bubbles in existence because grind time is one of the cheapest bubbles in the game to level up, and it also gives Bubo a reason to hyper farm it. Not to mention, if you stack this with a couple of cards, this makes it possible to get equipment, not to mention also get more talent points. So for this reason, it is basically tied with Diamond Chef, but because it can always scale higher, it will become better over time.
There you go, my dudes. The final Alchemy Bubble tier list. Leave in the comment section below what you feel about this tier list or all the tier lists in general. I'd love to hear your guys' feedback. But anyways, I gotta get back to the guide grind. Stay tuned for the next IdleOn video. Stay safe, happy grinding, and peace out.